Okay, in this tutorial I'm just going to run through our move, scale, rotate and the universal manipulator tools. Now when we've created an object in our 3D space, you'll see that when I select the object, so if it looks like this, you need to just click on it, select it. You'll see I've got these little object axes here, the green, the blue and the red, and if I click on these they'll turn yellow and I can actually move my object around in the 3D space. If I click in the center, then it gives me a free, I can move it anywhere. It's a little not really recommended. You have no idea where you're actually moving it within the 3D space here. But with the handles, that means I can just click and move things very easily here, and move my objects around in the 3D space. You'll notice that if I look over my channels box here, it's handy to know where you are in a 3D space and moving things around. So if I look at the translate Z here, I can see that at the moment it has a negative value, it's behind the center, and as I move it forward it will have a positive value. On the X here, as I move it over to the right hand side, positive, and as I move it over to the left hand side here, negative, and with the Y above the center, positive, and below the center is a negative value. So if I want to return it back to the center of my world, then I just quite simply put in 0, 0, 0, click away, and there it is, it's back in the center here. Rotate tool, similar thing. You see I've got let's just roll in, zoom in a little bit here. I can rotate around all my object axes here, spinning around like so. Little handy, that one. There we go, we can see this one. And you'll also notice we've got a blue circle around it. Now what this allows me to do is to rotate it parallel to my camera. So now my camera view, if I just spin my camera view around a little bit here, you'll see that that little circle here is just going to stay parallel with my camera, so I can rotate it like so. So we've got a little bit of extra possibilities there. So I can just rotate on one of its object axes like so, or I can use the little blue line here and just rotate all the way around there. And again, I've got my numerical values here, so if I want to set it back, let's go 0, 0, 0, click away, and I'm back to where I started again. Scale tool, similar thing. Oh. So I had a little crash there, so back to my scale tool here. Same thing, I've got my little handle so I can scale it in each direction, like so. Or the center one here, the little blue one, and I can scale it in all directions. So again, I've got a lot of control over it, my visual viewpoint here, so I can sort of scale it like so. And if I want to scale the whole thing up, I can scale. Very nice simple visual things here. And again, over in the channel box here, numerical values, I can just click it and go back to where I started from. With these little views here, I can also, a little interactive one, if I hold down the center mouse button, I should be able to, let's have a look here. There we go. So you'll see I'm holding down, I've just selected the word scale here, and I'm holding the middle mouse button, so that's my little scroll wheel, and that allows me to interactively change my view here. Usually the symbol should change, but it hasn't for some reason there. So that's another possibility. And finally, we have the universal manipulator. So I need to select my object. Now this is all three of these tools combined into one. The main difference is that now what happens when my rotation is I'll actually rotate on an edge, whereas when my rotate tool rotates around the center of my object, if I say I choose this one, you'll see it's now rotating on the opposite corner, so it's actually using this point here to rotate. So if you want to rotate an object from the center, then you still need to use the rotate tool. However, this can be a handy little tool if you want to quickly rotate on an edge there. So I've got this option to, let's just click back on there again. So I can rotate like so with the universal manipulator, or go to my rotate tool, and now I'm rotating from the center of my object in a completely different effect here. Let's go back to the universal manipulator again. I can also put in scale values. These little boxes here refer to the scale. So if I put in 0.5 here, hit return, then I scale it down half, and do the same thing over here. 0.5, hit return, scale it by half. In the corners, I can also, if I just click on, I can pull the sides out, scale it up, move it upwards. If I hold down the control key, it will actually pull this one up, and also pull this point down here down, so it's kind of more proportional. So just hold down control and both sides and pull up. Without control, just pull up the top, and if I hold down shift, then it's just going to scale again from the other side, but it will scale all the sides proportionally. So the universal manipulator tool does combine all of these, and for sure the move tool will act in exactly the same way, but our scaling and our rotating is done slightly differently. So it's not doesn't make these tools obsolete. It's just it can be very handy, but certainly bear in mind that the rotation things are going to be slightly different here. And again, I can just put it back to default up here. 1, 1, and 1, 0, and 0, and 0, and then I'm back to where I started from again. Okay, so there's just a quick run through of those basic move tools there.